God message for you today. Your inner child, the original, sacred version of you untouched by the world's manipulations, is crying out. Not in pain, but in divine protest. The soul of your younger self is beginning to rise because the time has come to uncover a truth that has been intentionally buried. Something happened when you were a child, and it altered the course of your life. This wasn't a small event. It was a spiritual pivot that others tried to hide from you. But heaven never forgets what was done in secret. The shivers, the dreams, the sense of being watched or guided, these are not coincidences. They are activations. When you walk into a certain room, hear a specific song, or see an old photograph and feel emotion swell in your chest, it's because your soul recognizes a thread tied to a truth they kept from you. The time for silence has expired. Heaven is peeling back the veil. And you are stronger now, ready now, to receive what your spirit has always known. You were betrayed, but not abandoned. Your angels, your guides, your divine protectors have been orchestrating this moment for years. What you feel is your higher self preparing you for a holy confrontation. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it is the divine key to unlock what others buried in shame and secrecy. And your courage to face this is part of your sacred assignment. There's something else you need to hear: you have never been alone in this. Even in the darkest, loneliest years when you didn't understand why certain family members treated you differently, even when love felt conditional or access to truth felt blocked, heaven was taking note. I was there. And the energy of justice has finally caught up with the act that was committed behind your back. Divine timing is not late. It is perfectly aligned. So I say to you now, trust your sensations. When your body trembles, your skin prickles, your stomach drops, it is a language. A sacred code. Your soul is remembering what others prayed you'd never rediscover. But you are not the child they deceived. You are now the warrior that child has been waiting for. Are you ready to remember what they tried to hide? Are you ready to meet yourself before the world told you who to be? Type Amen 756 to get blessings. Then listen closely. Because this is just the beginning. The veil is thinning, and I, Archangel Michael, will walk with you into the storm. Not to break you, but to free you. When you were still small, perhaps too young to fully speak for yourself or understand the deeper mechanics of adult decisions, something significant occurred behind closed doors. I, Archangel Michael, was there. I saw it. And now, you must see it too. There was a moment in your past when certain family members convened. It could have been at a kitchen table, in a quiet office, or at a legal facility cloaked in routine. But make no mistake, what they did wasn't casual or harmless. They made a choice that would affect your path for years to come. A choice cloaked in adult language, dressed up as necessary, but driven by fear, selfishness, or control. You weren't invited. You weren't told. And what they did in that moment, signed, sealed, spoken, became a spiritual binding that heaven never approved. This wasn't just a financial move. It wasn't only about custody, inheritance, or guardianship. It was a spiritual interference, and it was rooted in the idea that they could dictate your destiny without your consent. But no human can overrule the divine design of a soul. And now, what was once hidden in whispers and locked drawers is stirring beneath the surface. What they agreed to, whether it was removing your name from something, rewriting a truth, altering a record, or spiritually cutting off part of your heritage, was intended to be permanent. But divine justice is not mocked. What man binds in deception, heaven will expose in light. There is something important you must understand. One person in that meeting didn't agree. There was a voice, maybe soft, maybe silenced, that protested. That person couldn't stop the act, but their spirit placed a marker. A spiritual timestamp that heaven traced directly to your soul. This act created a fracture in your family's energy, and that crack is now breaking open. The consequences of what they did were not just legal, they were karmic. And now, those consequences are starting to circle back. This is why you may have noticed tension rising within the family. Secrets growing heavier. Eye contact avoided. Unspoken things being almost said but swallowed. The vibration of revelation is unsettling everything. Beloved, you are now strong enough to confront what was done. I do not reveal this to cause division, but to give you clarity. You've walked too long in confusion, carrying invisible weights for choices you never made. You have been gaslit, silenced, redirected, and told to let the past be the past. But that's only because the truth terrifies those who buried it. Type Amen 4857 to get blessings. I am here to remind you of this, the truth is sacred. And you are the rightful keeper of your own story. It is your divine right to know what was decided in your absence. It is your destiny to reclaim what was stolen in your silence. Prepare yourself, dear one. Because documents are about to surface. Conversations are about to be overheard. And someone will slip, not because they want to, but because heaven is loosening their tongue. What they buried behind your back, will now stand before your face. You're not walking into this alone. I will be beside you. Sword drawn. Light blazing. It's time the shadow learned that the child they underestimated, has returned as a force of divine fire. There were moments, countless ones, I know, when you sat in silence and asked yourself, why do I feel so separate, even among my own blood? Why do I feel like the outsider in a room full of people who should love me unconditionally? That aching distance, that haunting sense of not belonging, it wasn't your imagination. Archangel Michael speaks now. You felt different because you were treated differently. From a young age, you picked up on the invisible barriers. Maybe it was how your name was left out of certain conversations. Maybe it was the way your presence altered the energy in a room. Or how decisions were made without your input, even when you were old enough to understand. You noticed how others were protected while you were left exposed. Or how you were held to a harsher standard, often expected to carry burdens no child should bear. You weren't wrong. You weren't too sensitive. You were discerning. Spiritually alert. Gifted in ways even you couldn't yet explain. Your soul was born into a lineage where something sacred and dangerous resided within you. You carried a light, a divine frequency, that made others uncomfortable. Especially those who held secrets they didn't want exposed. Your presence alone triggered guilt, shame, or fear in those who knew what had been done. Rather than confront the truth, they masked it in coldness, exclusion, or control. Type Amen 5894 to get blessings. And here's the divine mystery, your inner child remembers. Even if your mind tried to forget for survival, your energy has always known. That sense of being the black sheep, the outcast, or the misunderstood one, it wasn't a flaw. It was a form of spiritual insulation. Heaven veiled you from their lies, so that one day you could stand outside them with clarity and power. And that day is now. You were never meant to fit into a structure built on denial. You were never supposed to blend into a system that silenced the truth for comfort's sake. Your differentness was your divine marking. A sign that you were born to break the cycle, not repeat it. But understand this, one person tried to tell you the truth long ago. Maybe it was a whisper. Maybe they slipped a hint into your ear in a moment of courage. A phrase like, "You're not crazy," or, "One day, you'll understand." But they were quickly shut down. Maybe they were silenced by guilt, by fear, or by manipulation from those more powerful. Yet their attempt left a spiritual crack in the wall of deception, and you've been feeling that crack widening. The strange feelings you have when returning to certain homes or looking at old photos. That's your spirit aligning with divine memory. You are recovering the fragments. And I, Archangel Michael, am fusing them back into your awareness. Soon, someone in your family will begin to sense that you're waking up to the truth. Don't be surprised if they try to distract, discredit, or even guilt you back into silence. That's not love. That's fear wearing a mask. Let them tremble. You were once the quiet child who obeyed the lies. Now, you are the voice that heaven is empowering to speak. You are not different. You are divine. And this awakening is your birthright. Type Amen 857 to get blessings. There is something, an object, a document, a token from your childhood, that holds the missing piece to this buried truth. I, Archangel Michael, tell you with certainty, it was never fully destroyed. Though they tried to hide it, seal it away, or forget it ever existed, heaven preserved it, because it belongs to you. This object is more than a physical thing. It is a spiritual artifact. It carries energy. It holds memory. And it will shake the ground beneath their deception. Perhaps it's a letter never sent, tucked into the back of an old drawer. Maybe it's a family photo with someone deliberately cut out or hidden in the corner. It could be a legal document with names or dates that were changed, something you weren't supposed to notice. Or maybe it's an item that once belonged to you but was taken without explanation, stashed away where you'd never look. But now, your soul is being magnetized toward it. You may have already started noticing signs. You might feel drawn to certain storage boxes, rooms in the family home, attics, or even old books. You may find yourself dreaming about a specific room, or hearing a whisper in your spirit that says, "Look there." These nudges are not random, they are divine guidance. Your angels are coordinating synchronicities. Sudden urges to visit old places. Random names or dates popping into your mind. A feeling that your hands want to reach into something, by accident. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual recovery in motion. The truth they thought was buried still breathes. And here's what's powerful, when you find it, the energy tied to that object will unlock clarity you didn't even know you needed. It will be like turning on a spiritual light inside you. What once felt like a fog will lift. A strange feeling of guilt or confusion will fall off your chest like chains breaking. You'll feel it in your body, your breath, your spirit. The lie will lose its grip on your identity. But be aware, someone knows it still exists, and they are worried. There is a person in your family who has watched you grow closer to the truth. They may not speak of it, but their behavior reveals it: nervousness, sudden protectiveness over old items, distraction when certain topics arise. They fear what you'll find. And they have reason to, because once you see it, they can no longer deny what they did. Don't be afraid. You are not violating anything sacred by seeking what is rightfully yours. This is not about revenge, it is about reclamation. Your truth. Your story. Your spiritual inheritance. I, Archangel Michael, will protect you through this. I will send angels to guard your mind from gaslighting and your spirit from fear. Follow the breadcrumbs. They are already appearing. A drawer will slide open. A box will fall off a shelf, by accident. A photo will flutter to the ground as if placed by unseen hands. Type Amen 9847 to get blessings. And when it happens, don't look away. Because what you're holding is not just a clue, it's the proof that heaven has been leading you toward all along. This is the moment they never wanted to come. But heaven decreed it. And you were born to uncover it. There is a woman in your family line, perhaps a mother, aunt, grandmother, or guardian, who did not merely witness the deception, but participated in it. And not out of ignorance or misguidance, but with intention. Archangel Michael speaks this with divine clarity. She knew exactly what was being done to you. And in many ways, she orchestrated it. To the world, she wore a mask of love. She may have smiled in photographs, called herself your protector, or even claimed she sacrificed so much for you. But behind closed doors, her words shaped false narratives, and her influence played a critical role in the decision that was made behind your back as a child. She was not just silent, she was complicit. And even more painful, she benefited from your silence. Whether it was emotional dominance, control over finances, or manipulation of family perception, this woman carved out power by keeping you small. She did not want you to know the truth. Because the truth would have restored your voice, your freedom, and your divine inheritance. And if you had known back then what you know now, her kingdom of control would have shattered. But let this truth reign in your spirit today, her control is already breaking. You may have felt confusion toward her over the years. At times, admiration, because she was strong or generous. Other times, dread or guilt when you tried to pull away. That's because you were entangled in a spiritual web she spun to keep you in line. She made herself appear as the glue of the family, but she was also the gatekeeper of deception. Type Amen 498 to get blessings. Heaven never turned a blind eye to this. And now, her web is unraveling. She is likely the one who intercepted conversations, redirected your curiosity, or made you feel ungrateful if you asked too many questions. She used guilt like a weapon. She invoked duty, family honor, and loyalty to keep you quiet. But that wasn't love. That was manipulation rooted in fear, the fear of you finding out who you truly are. You must understand, beloved, she saw your power long before you did. And she was afraid of it. She saw your insight. Your intuition. Your divine connection. And instead of nurturing it, she tried to smother it. Because your clarity would have exposed her lies. But now, the divine clock has struck. Her influence is weakening, and you are awakening. Be ready, because she may sense that her grip is slipping. She might reach out, playing the role of victim or martyr. She may try to reassert control through sudden affection or manipulation. Don't fall for it. This isn't about revenge, it's about truth. And truth requires boundaries. Archangel Michael says, you are allowed to love her and still confront her. You are allowed to honor her humanity while rejecting her deception. You are allowed to walk away, if walking away protects your peace. And here is the twist, she is panicking right now. Because she feels it, your eyes opening. Your soul remembering. Your light growing too powerful to suppress. Type Amen 475 to get blessings. You are not the child she could bend anymore. You are the storm she never expected to rise. And I, Archangel Michael, will stand beside you in this confrontation. Not to destroy, but to cleanse. Not to shame, but to liberate. Beloved, you must know this truth, what was taken from you was not just material. It was spiritual. You were denied something sacred, a birthright, an identity, a spiritual inheritance that was yours by divine decree. They may have hidden it through legal loopholes or emotional manipulation. They may have convinced themselves you'd never find out. But I, Archangel Michael, tell you now, heaven never forgot. When they made that secret decision during your childhood, when your name was erased, excluded, or rewritten in some document or spoken agreement, they did more than alter your path. They interfered with your soul's unfolding. They tried to suppress your purpose before it could bloom. And yet, your soul remained encoded with divine fire. You may not have realized it, but for years, you've been carrying a sense of incompletion. A strange emptiness. As if something powerful was just beyond your reach, yet invisible to your eye. That wasn't imagination. That was a spiritual severing, one that heaven has been preparing to mend. What they took from you spiritually may have appeared in different ways. A loss of confidence that came without cause. Unexplained patterns of scarcity or rejection. Feeling disconnected from your purpose or struggling to find your voice. A deep sense of being unseen or spiritually exiled. These weren't random hardships. They were consequences of a broken alignment caused by their interference. But now, something magnificent is happening, the sacred is being restored. What was withheld from you is making its way back, and when it returns, it will come with divine acceleration. I say to you now with angelic authority, you are about to reclaim what was stolen. Not through revenge. Not through confrontation alone. But through divine restoration. Through a breaking of false agreements and the reactivation of your spiritual identity. Type Amen 485 to get blessings. You are being reintroduced to your power. And as this awakening happens, your spiritual gifts will intensify. You'll feel it in your body, a quickening. You'll hear it in your dreams. You'll notice synchronicities aligning. Doors will open that were locked for years. People will show up with information, support, or even confessions, because the energy is shifting in your favor. What was once hidden in shadow is coming into light. What they hoarded in secret, heaven is releasing with purpose. There's something else you need to know, your spiritual name, the name heaven calls you by, is encoded with authority. And it has been hidden, not only from your family but from you. Soon, through dreams, signs, or sudden clarity, that name will return to your awareness. It carries power they never could touch. It is the key to your inheritance. And when you reclaim this name, you will feel something break in the atmosphere around you. A chain that's been held tight since your childhood will shatter. You will walk taller, speak louder, love deeper, and the forces that feared you will no longer be able to reach you. Let them try to deny it. Let them tremble. Because what was once buried is now being resurrected by the hand of heaven. I, Archangel Michael, will personally oversee the return of what is yours. And no man, no woman, no generational curse will stop it. This is your moment. The sacred is coming home to you. Type Amen 4895 to get blessings. The truth you've been seeking isn't just hidden in the spiritual realm, it's living and breathing in the hearts of those who try to suppress it. And now, the pressure is building. I, Archangel Michael, speak plainly to your soul, a confession is coming. A moment is fast approaching when someone in your family, perhaps the least likely person, will slip, speak, or break beneath the weight of what they know. This is not just rumor. It is prophecy. The atmosphere in your family has begun to shift. There may be restlessness, defensiveness, or sudden contact from those who've been distant. Pay attention. The tension you feel isn't paranoia, it's the vibration of a coming confrontation. The lie is collapsing under divine weight. The longer it stays hidden, the louder the pressure grows. And one of them, perhaps the most silent, the most composed, will crack. It may happen in a passing comment, a letter, or a face-to-face moment charged with emotion. They might say something like, "There's something you were never told," or "You deserve to know the truth." That moment will be your divine cue. Heaven is orchestrating this moment not to bring chaos, but correction. And you must be ready. But I won't hide this truth from you, beloved, with revelation often comes resistance. There will be a spiritual confrontation. Not just with words, but with energies. The moment light begins to expose the lie, darkness will attempt to defend it. You may be met with denial, gaslighting, or sudden hostility. They may try to paint you as unstable, digging up the past, or imagining things. Do not shrink. This is not madness. This is memory. This is divine exposure. That moment will require strength, not the strength to argue, but the strength to stand in truth without fear. That's why I've been preparing you. That's why your dreams have been intensifying. That's why your spirit has felt restless. Because what is about to happen will shift your identity, your relationships, and the way you see your entire past. And yet, you will not face it alone. I, Archangel Michael, and legions of warrior angels will be beside you. Shielding your heart. Guarding your voice. Holding the atmosphere in your favor. You are not walking into war, you are walking into liberation. And it is messy, but it is holy. There's one more truth, someone you never expected may come to your side. This person, perhaps a sibling, cousin, or elder, has been silently carrying guilt. Watching. Waiting. Unsure of how to make it right. Your courage will awaken something in them. They may not say it at first, but deep down, they want you to succeed. Your truth-telling is unlocking not just your healing, but theirs too. So prepare, beloved. The conversation is coming. Stay grounded. Speak truth. Don't let fear distort your light. Type Amen 475 to get blessings. When the tears rise, let them fall. When the voices try to confuse you, breathe deep and remember, heaven is your witness. This is not about tearing your family apart. It's about tearing the lie apart. And when the confrontation is over, something holy will remain. You have felt the weight of this truth your entire life, even before you could name it. The whispers behind closed doors, the looks that lingered too long, the subtle exclusions and unspoken rules, all of it was part of a larger spiritual structure you were born into. But I, Archangel Michael, declare to you now, you were never meant to conform to it. You were chosen to dismantle it. This isn't just about one act of betrayal in your childhood. It's about a generational pact, an ancient agreement your family line made, either knowingly or unconsciously, that traded truth for survival, silence for status, loyalty for control. These spiritual agreements may have preserved appearances, but they came at a cost. You were the one sent to end it. Type Amen 675 to get blessings. Not because you were perfect. Not because you had all the answers. But because your soul carried something the others didn't: courage. Purity of purpose. A divine fire that refused to be extinguished. You've always felt the pull to ask questions, to challenge what shouldn't be questioned, to search for what everyone else seemed too afraid to find. That's not rebellion, it's divine assignment. You were born with the spiritual authority to break chains that have bound your bloodline for generations. It's no accident you felt out of place. That you often bore the brunt of emotional storms. That you carried burdens heavier than your years. The pact in your lineage required silence to survive, and you were the interruption. The holy disruption. The soul who could not be controlled. Heaven marked you long ago. And now the heavens are moving on your behalf. The truth that's emerging will not only heal your story, it will ripple backward and forward. Ancestors who were silenced will finally rest. Future generations will rise without the weight of what you carried. This is the moment when everything changes. You are becoming the hinge upon which the entire spiritual structure turns. But make no mistake, this moment demands boldness. You may still face resistance. Those who benefited from the old system will fight to preserve it. But do not fear them. They are not stronger than the God within you. They are not louder than the truth you now carry in your bones. And they cannot stop what heaven has already set in motion. You're not confronting them alone. You're confronting them with legions of angels behind you. You're confronting them with divine justice at your back and holy fire in your words. Something else has been prepared for you, a reward, a revelation, a new identity. The moment you step fully into your truth, you will unlock a blessing that has been waiting for you for years. It's been held in heaven's vault, protected until you were ready. And now, you are ready. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your freedom. Type Amen 876 to get blessings. You were never just the black sheep. You were the light bearer. The chain breaker. The truth bringer. And now, because of your courage, the entire lineage will shift. So rise now, chosen one. Stand in your full glory. Let every lie fall under your feet. And walk forward, not in fear, but in fire. Type Amen 4765 to get blessings.